Hey folks, how's it going? With the anniversary event running, the free draws and the roulette on the horizon, I've renewed my invitation to a few friends to try and pick up the game, but some were worried that the game had been going on for a while and it's going to take too long to catch up, while others were, of course, wary of its gacha nature. So today, I want to try and answer whether Granblue Fantasy, a 7-year-old game, might still be worth picking up. I don't claim to be unbiased, but the short answer is of course yes, while the long answer is hell yes. Alright then, that's it for this video. As always, thanks a lot for watching, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you around soon. I made you check the video length, didn't I? Seriously though, from an outsider's point of view, it's completely understandable that the game would look a bit too daunting to get into. I don't think I could go back to World of Warcraft myself after quitting back in Wrath of Lich King for example, but I wouldn't treat Granblue as a game in which you need to rush to the endgame in order to experience what the real game is about. My favorite parts of the game are the characters' fate episodes and the story events, and other than a few of them being locked behind some main story chapters, there's no need to have done any progress in order to experience those. The past story events are also being re-released as permanent content under the side stories menu, so even the argument of "oh, I must have missed out on a lot of stuff" kind of flies out of the window. While it's true that some stuff might never come back, it's mostly restricted to old collabs the game had with other IPs, such as Street Fighter, Attack on Titan, Granblue and the Lord of Vermilion card game. I've been wanting that MC skin for almost 4 years now, but hope it's the last thing to die. As far as player progress goes, the first main story missions will give weapons as a reward to kickstart the newcomer's journey, while side games has been given away even more as freebies. While the game is fairly grindy, getting your weapon grids in working order shouldn't take much more. The hard grind comes later and it's mostly for endgame stuff. On the character side, the roster is quite massive despite some characters getting multiple versions. Outside of the gacha, there are currently 47 side stories and they come with free characters, decent filler weapons and more crystals and tickets for polling. Finding a favorite character or two isn't going to be that difficult. At this point, there's someone for any personality trope you can think of, from a cute and playful hyperactive fox
またそないなこと言うて。まんざらでもないくせに、顔赤いで。
to the dumb and shy klutz who can't express her feelings.
師匠、なんで知ってるの？うちが団長に渡すって。
To the doting Onesan,
今日こそお姉さんに任せて。絶対お姉さん、活躍するから。
to the drill sergeant you'd hope would step on you.
走れ！ぐずぐずするな！たるんだケツの穴にクソ突っ込むぞ！
There are some men too, I guess, and exploring and getting to know the cast is the real highlight of the game. Each character gets their own fate episodes for joining the crew and their own time under the spotlight during monthly events. This is all presented in a visual novel style and for the most part it's fully voiced, which was quite surprising for me considering this is a browser game. On the gacha side instead, side games is always pretty generous when it comes to freebies and celebrations, so growing a collection is probably going to be a quick thing too. The rates for SSR characters and summons are at 3% base, but go up to 6% for about 4 days in the beginning and the middle of every month. Times in which they also release new characters and the limited characters become available for polling. If someone picks up the game before a free draws period and a roulette, I would even advise to just make do with the characters they get for free and save up their crystals for a spark. That is a way for you to guarantee that you get a limited character you want without having to spend money. Doing 300 rolls on a single banner might look hard at first, but I'm pretty sure all the early game rewards will get you there fairly soon. I've got a video on sparking that goes a bit more in depth about the whole process and you can check this video description for its link. Gameplay wise, the combat is based on old school turn-based JRPGs. You've got a class changing main character bringing around a 5 characters team, 3 frontline and 2 backline to replace them should they faint, and you've got to mix and match your class and companions based on what skills they have and what the enemy is going to throw at you. The great majority of the encounters are boss fights and they come with a variety of special attacks, usually going off as you reach an HP threshold or they fill their charged diamonds as turn progress. One of the most satisfying things about the game is going from struggling against a certain raid to slowly becoming able to take it down solo as your weapon grid improves, and after that, looking for strategies to lower your clear time. Content-wise, the game has quite a few permanent raids of varying difficulties, and there's a lot of events rotating each week, bringing new challenges. Another good part about it is its multiplayer component. Most boss fights are actually raid rooms that you can open up and have between 18 to 30 people come and join to help you clear them. The reward system will still provide you with a host chest even if your contribution to the kill is low, so even as a complete beginner, you will still have a decent chance at getting your weapon drops. As far as grinding goes, the grind itself is not even that bad to be honest, and it's further eased up by the possibility of purchasing some weapons from the dependent shop each month. The full auto function also helped ease things up even further, and most of the grind can now be done on the side while watching a movie, or in my case, editing videos. Granblue is also a game that lets itself get played, unlike most mobile titles. It does have a stamina system, but you receive so many items to refill it that it becomes almost pointless. The only people I've seen come close to running out of stamina have been streamers trying to play the game for over 6 hours a day, so unless you're looking for a full-time job, you should be fine. Being a browser game also brings the advantages of not having to deal with installations and patches. Every time a new version comes out, all it takes is an F5 to complete the update. On the downside, the menus are a bit of a labyrinth to navigate and will need some getting used to. Art-wise, the entire game is a feast for the eyes. I fell in love with it in a couple of screenshots. The character portraits look fantastic, and the extra artwork you unlock for leveling them up usually takes things a step further. The second art used to be a simple skill cast animation with some spell effects here and there, but as time went on, they've been stepping things up quite a bit. I don't think I have to go in much detail here, the art just speaks for itself. The sprite work is also on point, and the combat animations, especially for the charge attacks, go from great looking to jaw-dropping. There is clearly a lot of work and care put behind these, and it shows. Another pretty good aspect is its music. Most of the game's soundtrack is orchestral, but there are quite a few vocal pieces here and there. It's being composed by Nobuo Uematsu, who worked on quite a few Final Fantasy games, and Tsutomu Narita, who worked on Xenoblade and Final Fantasy XV. A lot of the raids have their own unique signature tracks, and the music even expands outside of the game with character singles. Here's some examples. Story-wise, the game's main plotline starts out being fairly generic, just a random young protagonist with a talking pet sidekick embarking on a journey to find his dad. Things start getting more interesting as the world begins getting fleshed out and you start meeting more and more people. I really don't want to spoil anything here, so I guess I'll leave it at that. The story events had a bit of an evolution as well, starting out being nothing more than just a Monster of the Week episode, and eventually expanding into different themes, from the more serious ones like Sarah's Teardrops in the Sand, to summer episodes and long multi-part sagas like the Society events, of which the current Homestay Moon is the 7th part. Alongside the events, there are usually new characters introduced or old characters getting new versions, or a new end cap, progressing their own stories a bit further. There are quite a few examples of these, some of them even advancing into rarities as the story comes along. With a cast this large though, it means that it's pretty hard for a specific character to get their own events, so many of them are usually left waiting. Harriet and Archangel Olivia would be two good examples of this. On the bright side at least, when it comes to a character's relevance and usability, Cygames does at least a couple of rebalance patches each year, so even old characters who have fallen off the meta have a chance to come back. This also helps keeping the gacha somewhat satisfying to roll, since old characters aren't always dead drops and it doesn't feel like you've wasted pulls for nothing. Lastly, I had a community section down here, but I don't really hang out in the large discords, nor I go on Facebook and Reddit, so I can't really speak for the community at large. Still, I hop around a couple of small communities on Twitch and YouTube, and they're generally frequented by pretty chill people, willing to help newcomers grow and answer their questions. If you have any, my comment section is also always open, and so is my own Discord server. Another pretty great source of information is the wiki, which is one of the best maintained games wiki I've ever seen, and if you can stand Google translated Japanese, GameWith has step-by-step grid progression pictures and a lot of endgame grid examples. Alright then, I guess this is going to be it for real this time. Again, Granblue Fantasy has been a game I've enjoyed plenty over the course of the years, and I feel like it still has a lot to give. At the time of posting this video, we're heading towards the 7th anniversary livestream and a pretty long roulette bringing plenty of free draws for the entire community, so this would be the ideal time to pick the game up. If you decide to do so, I hope to see you hanging around these parts again, and good luck with your rolls. Ciao!